night boxing talks. Talking about the late night boxing talks. Oh man, boxing is dry, man. I might start watching MMA. No, I'm just playing. That's not gonna happen. I unless they standing up and throwing punches and kicks and shit, I can't get into that shit. I'm gonna wait for the list to populate. Why does iTunes keep trying to notify me? What do they want? I don't know. I don't know. Let the list populate. Let it populate. We got 5 people in the building. All right, y'all know the drill. Post your flag. Where you from? Where you at? What you doing? Post your flag. Post your flag. What's goody, JBN? What's goody, New Country? God, Bugsy Icon, Justino Castillo, Chris Price. Hey, Rob, what's goody? Gatsby J, Johnny Blaze. Hey, Rob, what's good, yo? Chilling, man. Chilling. Minding my business. Staying out of trouble. Post your flag. Where you from? Where you at? Queens, New York is in the building, Rob. I dig it. I remember they had these big beetles back in New York, right? This was many years ago, maybe a decade. They was like this big, and they would burrow holes, circular holes into the trees. I believe that they said they was in Queens. There's these big black beetles, and they had like little yellow stripes on their antenna. It was real scary, man. I think they had came from Asia or something like that. Hey, what's goody? Russ Pettit, Josh, Texas in the building, Mexico. I dig it. Boston. Where you from? Where you at? I know it's daytime somewhere. The sun is shining somewhere. Fort Worth, Texas. Texas is a destination I'm looking at for a home because I hear that the houses are nice, spacious, and much less expensive than they are here. Clearwater, Florida. I dig it. Chile. I dig it, Mr. 420. Most people don't realize that flag right there, that's the Chilean flag. It looks like the Texas flag. Oxnard, California. A lot of good fighters come out of Oxnard. A lot of good fighters. I'm all the races combined into into a burrito. Like I'm all of them. I'm Paraguay, Uruguay, Ecuador, Mexico, PR, DR. What's the other ones? Did I say Mexico? Yeah, I'm Mexico. What's the other ones? Y'all really forgot. Chile, Argentina. What else? I'm all that shit, yo. All that shit. All that shit, yo. I'm all that shit all together. That's why I don't look like nothing. Like I don't look like nothing. I could be anything. Yo puedo ser de Argentina. Porque sabes esas cosas. Yo puedo ser. I could be from anywhere, dog. I could pass for anything. In the private sector, they teach us to adapt our look so that we can blend in with almost any culture on the planet. It could be anything. Detroit in the building. Hey. Argentinos don't count. Oh, why you said that? Don Ricardo, que lo que? You heard about Fury firing Sugar. He fired Sugar. He'll stop lying, man. See, it's like I've been so like with boxing lately that I'm like, man, ain't nothing going on, man. Like in that Rigo fight, yo, I don't know what that fight did to me, dog, but that fight just ever since that fight, I've been like, yo, this is wild, bro. And you really got people that's trying to defend this. Like, you really, for real, got people that sit there and argue about how that was, like, really, that was a boxing masterclass? That looked like freeze tag with boxing gloves. That didn't look like no masterclass. It's wild the shit that people are willing to argue about. Like, bro, you know what? I don't give a shit if it was a masterclass. Nobody wants to see that shit. Nobody. You got motherfuckers that stay up late every Saturday to watch fights. And they seen that shit. And they was like, hey, what's goody? Es que ellos tienen descendientes europeos. Por eso es que ellos son así. Ellos tienen descendientes. I think that they're Italian or some shit, algo así. Por eso es que ellos se oyen como italianos que hablan español. La maravilla. I like how they speak Spanish. Australia in the building, Liam Rockwell. Aye. That fight is the reason why I feel bad for Rigo, but then I don't feel bad. It's like I'm here. I'm here. Drew, shout out to Drew. Always appreciated, bro. How's the I'm not no, no, no. Oh no. I'm not even gonna do it, dog. So many people have told me so many things, and I'm just like, yo, you know what? Nah, I'm good. I'm so many people have told me so many things the last 2 days. I'm not gonna talk about it. Like, nah, B. Chill, man. They try to kill me out here, B. Real rap. Like, they try to get me, dog. Appreciate that, Karma. Here's your friendly you know, Karma, you know I'm nice by nature. That's my first impulse is to do unto others as I would have them do unto me. I do that to everybody. Some people who I shall not mention, they need Jesus. Jesus Hawks. Trying Irish car bombs. Oh. It's one thing that's on my mind, and I did want to open up the panel to discussion. I appreciate that, Drew. Really appreciate that, bro. On a serious note, Jules, Crawford and Porter are on a fair market value awakening for their purse bid. If both men reject the winning bid because it's not enough, they don't want the fight. I agree, and it's interesting, which is actually the reason I went live. I already did a video on the purse bid and the different scenarios that could happen. So the discussion for tonight is, what do you guys think is going to happen? Do you think Top Rank will place the winning bid? Do you feel like PBC will place the winning bid? Will Matchroom decide to intervene? Will they decide to host the fight? I don't really want Triller to get involved, but I wouldn't rule it out that they might. I don't want them to get involved because we see what they did with Lopez and Cambosos. If they wouldn't have won that purse bid, it would have went to Matchroom and it would have been done. You know, like even if he wasn't happy with the Top Rank money, even if some of you out there feel that they should have offered him more, remember Matchroom had the second highest bid. So if Matchroom would have got to do the fight, it would have been done by now, and we would have been hearing about Lopez versus Lomachenko too. Instead, because Triller won the bid, here we are with no fight, and they talking about taking it to Saudi Arabia. The deadline for that purse bid is next Tuesday. Not purse bid. The deadline for them to come to a decision, to have contracts and submit them, is Tuesday. The only scenario that matters is the wisdom of old Uncle Bob. He knows, bro. Like, look, a lot of people celebrated when a lot of people celebrated, and I felt that they celebrated prematurely. Like, I'm not a Monday morning quarterback. I said it then. I don't know why people are celebrating Triller putting up that much money, because if you put up that much money, what that tells me is you want to do this as a pay-per-view. And Lopez versus Cambosos is not pay-per-view worthy. If you pay over the market value for a fight, and we all know a ballpark figure for the market value of a fight because we're the consumers, we're the ones that pay, we're the ones that'll tell you if it's pay-per-view worthy or not. That's how me and you, the fans, can actually put a market value on a fight, because we'll tell you if it's something that we're willing to pay for. How did I get a notification that I'm live? Dead ass. Let me see. I got a notification from me that I'm live. Let me go check. Right? Israel, is that Israel? That's the Israel flag. So it's wow, bro. And that's the topic of discussion for tonight. Just for whoever wants to For those of you that are in the chat, some of you that might want to join, I'll put the link in the joint. Jules, this is a high-stakes game of chicken for the fighters. How will the fans react if Crawford or Porter really walk away? Well, you guys know I'm a Crawford fan, but I have to be objective, right? I honestly don't see him vacating that title, Drew. I honestly don't see that happening. I'd sooner expect Sean to walk away because they offer him another option over there on PBC. It could be a Keith Thurman fight at 154, or a Danny Garcia fight at 154, or a Jamal James fight. I could see them offering him something to where he's the one that walks away. And if he's the one that walks away, then that creates an environment where you can't, nobody can blame Crawford if Sean decides to walk away. If he withdraws from it, and it's a possibility that he could withdraw from it. If he withdraws, well, that's not Crawford's fault because this is your opportunity. This is your title shot, and you either want it or you don't. And this is, if you go back to every single video that I've done talking about this, I've always said the same thing. This is your opportunity. You already fought Kell Brook. You already fought Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, Yordenis Ugas, and Errol Spence Jr. You at the end of the line right now. You know what I mean? Errol is out. He's got a messed up eye. Ugas, he's about to fight Manny, and he might lose that title. This is your only opportunity to fight for a world title in the near future. And you either want that opportunity or you don't. But if you're the one that walks away, no one, no matter what channel they have or what narratives they like to spin, no one can make that be Terrence Crawford's fault because it's open to the market now. If you're worth what you say you are, then your people will put up the money. If you're not worth what you think you are, if you're not worth it, then they won't put up the money. Never mind Bob and his reputation for being cheap. Never mind him, because if you're really worth it, your own people will put up the money. You don't have to worry about Bob. Imagine giving us a Porter rematch with any of those. But you can't, Drew, you can't put it past them because they had the nerve to try to put Wilder versus Ortiz 2 on pay-per-view. They had the nerve to actually do that. And nobody was asking for that. We all know what we was asking for and all of that. There was plenty of other things they could make. But look at what they did. That's why when I see those kinds of things, I'm like, yo, I don't put it past them because there's no quality control over there. Shout out to Chris Price. Them PBC fighters need to be worried about how long those damn lines about to be at their local money. Yo, real rap, because he got them dudes fighting on an allowance. When you ever, see, if you got to do like a young guy on something like that, yo, low key, I could maybe understand. But Broner is a grown-ass man, former 4-division champion, fought Marcos Maidana, Sean Porter, Mikey Garcia, Manny Pacquiao, and you got this man on an allowance. That's crazy. So, like, if he's on an allowance, Davis probably on an allowance, and all these other cats is probably like, that's wild. Like, what you doing with their money? Feed Porter to Ennis if he walks up. Yo, I agree. Because the only way that I will not be critical is if he fights Jaron Ennis. That's the only way I won't be critical. That's literally the only way. If you walk away from that to fight Danny again or Keith again, yeah, I'm going to be critical because nobody want to see that shit. I do want to see what happens if you put Sean Porter in the same ring with Jaron Ennis. What happens? That's the only way that I won't be critical. I will still say that it's stupid. I would still say that, like, as far as business and legacy and all of that, yeah, that's stupid. Because even with fighting Boots, which I think is a great fight, I do think it's a great fight. But even with that, you walked away from a title shot. You walk away from a title shot and a multi-million-dollar payday to fight this guy. I think you never wanted that fight. And bear in mind, I'm a person that has a high opinion of Sean Porter. I have a high opinion of Sean Porter. But if you walk away and it's some like, yo, yeah, it's a bonehead move. Phil? I was goody, Megan. Real dude uprising. Appreciate that, bro. They got the PBC side on stipend. It's a play until they figure out how to meddle with the belt, chase even more. I dig it. I mean, like, I figure that the reason those guys don't have full access to their money is because Al Heyman is using their purses perhaps to either invest in other projects, which is chancy because you could lose that money, or he's using it to launder other money because that's what I would do. That's another story. For the private sector, Drew, Porter could lose a spirited salvo to Bud and still get a PBC. That's true. But you know, there was a quote, Drew, from Sean Porter. This was months ago, where he said something about young guys and something about him not fighting young guys, that he has no intention of fighting young guys. And I'm like, yo, what young guys could he be referring to? Because it ain't that many. I guess not Conor Ben. I guess not Virgil Ortiz. I guess not Jaron Ennis. And I thought about it. Well, you know, he was never going to fight. I mean, Conor Ben, that fight was never going to happen. And Virgil, that fight was never going to happen. But Ennis, that's who I felt that comment was for. And I'm like, yo, you know what? Hey, you don't want to be a gatekeeper. I can respect it. You don't want to be a gatekeeper? Don't be a gatekeeper. But if you're not a gatekeeper and you this close to a title shot, why you don't take it? I mean, there has to be, it's either or, you know what I mean? It's either or. Either you want to fight Crawford or you don't. But this narrative that has been spun, you know, hopefully by the end of this week, it'll come to an end. Because it's silly. Like, bro, like everybody know what's going on. Everybody know what been going on for the last 3 years. Like, it's not a secret that they froze him out because he ain't one of their fighters. When he's 27, none of the PBC dudes from 147 to 160 will want no parts of Ennis. Better get him now. Yo, I say that all the time about so many fighters, bro. I said, like, yo, you better get him now. I say that about Hergovic, that like, yo, Michael Hunter should have tried to get him now because Hergovic hasn't really done anything yet. Let's be real. He's big, strong, hits hard, good amateur background, bronze medalist in the Olympics, but he hasn't done anything yet. So if you're going to get him now, because on the other side of that fight is the Joshua fight, which is the big money. And what he do, he went for Mike Wilson. So it is what it is. He made his choice. Warp Speed, shout out to Warp Speed. I have come to conclude it's internal sabotage. Fox will not renew the contract, and PBC is promising its new partners Pac versus Spence, Alvarez versus Plant. That's compelling. And that's compelling because what I would ask you is who the new partners are going to be. I've been hearing rumors that they're trying to jump into bed with Paramount. So maybe that's who the new partners is. Floyd was smart getting Canelo at but see, you see the point that I'm making though, right? You see the point that I'm making. That like, yo, Floyd didn't say, nah, I'm not gonna fight him because A, B, C, and D. No, like, all right, he wants to fight now, we can do it now. And that's why I don't complain about it. Appreciate that, Mr. Romero and Lil Marcus. Appreciate that. That's why I say that to me, he did it right. Like, why wait? Why wait? I'm the one that's aging. I'm the one that's getting older. Why wait? I'll get him now. And I don't make excuses for it. I don't make excuses for it because I think Pipino the first time he won a title, he was 18 years old. I think Wilfredo Benitez, the first time he won a title, I think was like 17 years old. Mike Tyson was 20 when he won the WBC from Trevor Berbick. So for me, look, there's no excuses to make. Canelo went into the Floyd fight as a champion. He had just come off a career best win over Austin Trout. Is he a better fighter now than he was before? I firmly believe yes. Of course he is. Look it up. That was years ago, bro. You don't think he picked up nothing? I do think he's a way better fighter now than he was when he fought Floyd, but I'm not going to diminish nothing because then that's making excuses. Like, for example, if Gervonta Davis would have fought Vasyl Lomachenko 2 years ago or 3 years ago, now I wouldn't make excuses for it because, yo, you got a belt. You had the IBF. And after you had the IBF, you had the WBA. You were champion. The training wheels got to come off. If Loma would have beat him, yo, you got to give Loma credit. Now look at what happened. Loma move up. Davis fight don't happen. Lopez was ready. He was ready. I think what Lopez is 23, 23, 15, 16 fights the max, but he was ready and he won. That's why I'm like, bro, I'm not gonna make excuses for none of that shit. Like, nah, Lopez was ready. You know what I mean? And he wasn't fighting just a good fighter or just a good champion. He was fighting a dude that some people, not me, he was fighting a dude that some people thought was pound for pound number one. So, you know what I mean? I don't make excuses like, nah. I firmly believe Michael Hunter should have took that fight because one, Hrgovic has not fought nobody yet. Not really. He hasn't. Who? Fight him now. Get him now. Get him early before he get better and then get to the other side of that fight so you can have the Joshua fight. I'm thinking pure boxing could lose a look to these YouTube fighters. But see, this is the other thing, right? Rigo is a pure boxer, right? He is a pure boxer. But that, like, and I'm not trying to be fucked up or nothing, but that shit wasn't boxing on Saturday, bro. That shit wasn't, you wasn't trying to hit that dude, man. It's hit and not get hit. Everybody always says, and it's going to start being, I could tell that this is going to become a recurring theme moving forward, that it's not just hit. I mean, it's not just the sweet science. It's the sweet science of bruising. And this is called the hurt business because you got to go in there and try to hurt the other guy. Rigo wasn't trying to hurt that guy, man. You just trying to finish the round. You trying to get off 2, maybe 3 punches in 3 minutes in a 3-minute round and then move around the ring, move around the ring, move around the ring, move around the ring. Come on, B. That's not, come on now. That's wild. They don't get it. Canelo had the balls. It would have been like Floyd. Exactly. Like Canelo, look, like people say what they say. I think Canelo did the right thing by taking that fight. I think that Floyd did the right thing by taking that fight. We know they both made a lot of money. Canelo got valuable experience from that fight. So he moves forward from that fight, and he don't have an O to protect no more. Notice that he moved forward from that fight. He don't have to be paranoid. He don't have to be protective or overprotective of his record because he already took on the big dog. He lost the fight, and he got outclassed, but it's cool. I'm young. I'll be back. I'll rebound. It's nothing. And look where he at now. We need standards back. You get a belt, you are no longer I agree with that. I agree with that. That has been my rule of thumb throughout. That if you get a belt, you cannot be talked about and treated like you're a contender because you literally have something that literal contenders want. The guys in the top 10, the top 20, the top 40, whatever, all them guys in them ranks. Who you think they trying to get at and where you think they trying to get at. They trying to get to the top so they could fight for a belt. And if by some chance you get a belt, yo, the training wheels got to come off. It got to come off like it's standards. And if you don't want to deal with that, which is what I said in 2017 and 2018, if Gervonta Davis don't want to deal with that standard of being a champion and all of that and what that entails, yo, vacate the IBF. And when he got to vacate the WBA, if you're not ready to unify and you're not ready to meet these standards, vacate. Because all you doing is holding up the division if you're not looking for unification matches, if you're not looking for those fights. That's all you're doing. You holding everything else up. It's other champions out there that they might be ready. They don't have no hang-ups. I mean, there's no reason to look at it any other way. In this sport, Frito Benitez was a world champion at 17. Floyd Mayweather Jr. fought Genaro Hernandez, who had a record of 38-1. Floyd had a record of 17-0. Genaro had a record of 38-1. Only ever lost to, I think it was Oscar De La Hoya. And Floyd was like, what, 22, 23 around there? But he had to fight. It wasn't all this shit, this bullshit. Like, no, like, nah, that's like, and anybody that was saying, oh, Tank is too young. Nah, how is Tank too young? Teofimo just beat Loma. You see that? He was 23. When Loma started going after Tank, that's the same. Tank was the same age that Lopez is when he beat Lomachenko. So it wasn't that you was too young. Your people didn't believe you could win. That's what it was. They don't believe you could win. They didn't believe it then, and they probably don't believe it now. Because, I mean, really. Based on these ratings this year and the UFC revenue, because it's public info from their parent company, yeah, honestly, yeah. I hate to say that, but I have to agree with you. The numbers don't lie. The numbers don't lie. They're not going to lie for me. My preferences, not going to lie for any of us. UFC is taking over in this country because of its structure. It's not that it's as big as boxing or even that as a whole it makes as much money as boxing. But in this country, the UFC is providing a product that has a pecking order. There's no filler in between. No. This guy has to fight that guy now, and that guy has to fight that guy now, and that guy has to fight that guy now. And even though it's one promotion, because it really is just one promotion, it's just one outfit, they're still giving people that. You have these outfits that even amongst themselves, inside of their bubble, they don't do what they should do. Benavidez versus Charlo is a pay-per-view, but Charlo don't want to do it. True. It seems like many fighters want the belt, go on cruise control, but don't want. Yeah, exactly. They get the belt, and they like, well, no, I got the belt. Well, you got one belt. It's 3 other ones, plus the Ring magazine, which makes 4. Tank is a 7-year pro. That's an established veteran, but Tank's still exactly. Look, Anthony Joshua, 6 years into his career, became a world champion. Tank is a 7-year pro who hasn't even unified a title yet. Willie Lynch, casuals would be shocked how in the old days, like Jimmy Wild, 800 times Jimmy was 100 pounds knocking out middleweights. Now they have panic attacks before getting the title. Y'all know that I'm not a historian. I'm not like the historian. I would say that's more boxing beats and rhymes and Mark's area of expertise. You know what I mean? But like I believe it's Harry Greb that went up there and fought Gene Tooney, and he beat Gene Tooney at least once. Gene Tooney was a motherfucking heavyweight. It's wild. Like if you look at the history of this sport and what's going on now, you're gonna be like, yo, this is not the same sport, bruh. Guys like Henry Armstrong and all of that, you know, everybody talks about Sugar Ray Leonard. Henry Armstrong is somebody that a lot of people need to get familiar with. And you look at guys like that, the conditions was harder, they were harder. The sport was not as safe, but you still had guys that was fighting several times a year. These days, you lucky if you see a guy 2 times a year. You lucky if the dude fight 2 for real times a year. Hearn rigging a purse bid between. Yeah, that's bullshit, bro. Come on, like that shit from Hunter is bullshit, bro. Look, Top Rank didn't want Matchroom to bid on the Lopez fight, but they did. So what the fuck can Eddie do to rig the purse bid to the Hrgovic fight? You know the real reason? They didn't want to have to pay the bill for Hrgovic. That's the real reason. They didn't want to have to pay. Triller go in this man in and say, bro, why we gonna pay that for Hrgovic when we could pay you this for Mike Wilson? We could pay you this for Mike Wilson and a couple of other fights. And in a couple of fights, you would have got similar or better money than you would have got the Hrgovic fight. And what they not telling you is, you know what the difference is, right? The Hrgovic fight gets you Joshua. Fighting Mike Wilson don't get you Joshua. That's the IBF final eliminator. You know the IBF is going to order the fight. You fight Mike Wilson, and what happens after that? You call out Dillian White like he gonna care. Bro, that man don't care about you. And you don't got no fighters on that platform to fight. You like who? If they want Dillian White to go over there, they're gonna have to offer him a lot of bread off top. Like, yeah, like maybe you can get him to go over there. Maybe. But you're gonna have to offer him a lot of bread. Because that's what it's all about. He's on a fight-by-fight basis with Matchroom. He's not on a multi-fight deal. It's fight by fight. So you probably could entice him to go over there, but it's going to cost you a lot of money. And we see what happened the last time Triller wanted to pay somebody a lot of money. He put up all that money for Lopez and Kambosos, and now we ain't got no fight. The history of boxing I love is the sweet science of bruising. Only 2 ways to win. Finish your man or he submits. It was accepted to quit. Yo, everybody cuts it short because it feeds the narrative. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, the sweet science. It's not just the sweet science. It's the sweet science of bruising. And it's the hurt business. It's not the hit. It's not the don't get hit and don't get hit business. It's the hit and not get hit business. You notice how the hit comes first? You got to go in there and try to hit that guy. It's not go in there and I'm going to just defend. Like, I hate when people do this to Floyd. And I know many of you might not like Floyd, but there's a difference between Floyd and Rigo. Floyd fights in a pocket. He fights in a pocket. He didn't throw a lot later on in his career, but he stayed in the pocket, roll punches off the shoulder, counter, pull counter, all right? In the pocket, not, oh, I'm going to just move. I said like, yo, what? That shit going to fuck around be like the Solis fight. When I was on BDA Live the night before the fight, I was on BDA. They had Steve Kim on there. Shout out to Steve Kim. Shout out to Mario Lopez and the 3 knockdown rule. When Steve was there, and after Steve left, we was talking about the fight, and I'm like, yo, y'all seen the Solis fight? He spent the whole fight on his bike until he knocked the dude down in the 7th. But other than that, yo, he's literally spent the whole fight on his bike. Bruh, that is not the sweet science of nothing, bro. You are so far on the outside of this man that, yeah, he can't hit you, but you cannot even hit him either. So it's not a fight, bro. It's not sweet nothing. That's just you running away. A lot of people took issue with that after the fight. I saw a lot of people's reactions to the quips that people made. And I'm like, there were literally moments in this fight where his whole back was turned to Casemiro. His whole back is turned to, how is he fighting him? His whole back is turned to him. It's not a fight, bro. If your whole back is turned to him and he's chasing you, bro, you're not fighting. You're running. Pretty boy earned his Hoff credentials, not money. Yeah, you remember. Money was the boring one. But even Money fought in the pocket. Go back and watch the Cotto fight. He was fighting in the pocket. Rigo, the reason people do not like to watch Rigo, he don't fight in the pocket, bro. He don't. He is way out there on the outside of everything. He's so far outside, he can't even hit the fucking guy. Shout out to Luis Puente. Would it be better if there was only one promoter like in the UFC? No, because that's too much hegemonical power and that's too much of a job for one promoter. The ideal solution for America, and this is just given the current situation that we're in, PBC and Top Rank should merge or work together more. You are competing with Eddie and the global market because DAZN is a global streaming app. You guys, like Top Rank, for example, you have to go to a foreign broadcaster to get money on the foreign market. DAZN already got that. They cater to 200 countries around the world. So Top Rank, PBC, they need to do business. Because if you want to compete and really give them a run for their money, because they're making their money. Like, a lot of people are going to tell you a lot of things. Since they debuted in America, they have expanded. It was 9 countries before. Now it's 200, right? Now it's 200. They've grown, right? If you want to compete with them, because you're competing with them and the global market, join forces, make fights amongst yourselves to reclaim boxing for the American market. And with that, I'm telling you, I know I'm being idealistic, I know, but if you want to reclaim boxing as the premier combat sport in America, they have to join forces and make fights. Working separately, it's not working. We can see it's not working. Oscar Valdez and Gervonta Davis at 130 pounds is a fight that does good business. Yes, it is. It is. We all know it. Gervonta Davis versus Teofimo Lopez is a fight that does good business. We all know it. We know it. All right. And there's lots of other little fights like that that can be built if a bartering system is established. If you develop a bartering system, like we got a middleweight named Yanni Beck. Okay, you let our guy Yanni Beck fight your guy, Jermall Charlo, and we'll let our guy Oscar Valdez fight your guy, Gervonta Davis. A bartering system. We give you a fight, you give us a fight. All right? You do it on your platform, we do one on our platform. We measure the market value of the fight, and we look for the fights that are comparable, that their market value is comparable, and we swap. And we do that based on where the fight will do the best business. Right now, what they're doing, they are killing boxing by being at odds with each other. You need to be working together, all right? Because it's dwindling out here. Look at how boxing has been in this country this whole year. It's been bad news after bad news. Appreciate that, Fight Club. Wow, they charge 30 in Germany. Wow, them Germans got some guap. They got some money over there in Germany. Ist das wahr? Wow. Why doesn't Heyman swindle some more hedge funds? Jack Dempsey ducked Sam Lamford like a book. Yes, he did. Yes, he did. Everybody knows it. Like, look, Jack Dempsey, one of the greats, right? He is. But he fucking ducked him, bro. And ain't a lot of arguing about that. Has promoters always been this way? No, they haven't, King. No, they haven't. When we were young, or at least when I was young, it wasn't like this. Like, it wasn't that, oh, well, you got to come to Fox. No, it wasn't like that. Promoters worked with each other. There also wasn't as much money up front. That, like, these guarantees that you hear about, that, oh, well, I need 10, and I need 30, and I need 50 up front, right? It wasn't like that. It was easier for a pay-per-view to have an upside way back when because the guarantees were lower. So it's not as many operational costs. You don't have to hit a certain number if the operational costs are lower. But when the operational costs are high, including a big-ass guarantee you trying to cover, well, you're going to have a lot of pay-per-views that don't do nothing. Why? Because look at what you spent to put on the fight. If you think about Wilder and Fury, too, it's the perfect example. You guaranteed him 30. You guaranteed him 30. So guaranteed purses, 60. That means just to cover those purses, you got to sell 1 million pay-per-views. And that's before you start making money. For you to start making money, all right, well, now you got to go over 1 million pay-per-views because the cable and satellite companies ain't doing that shit for no reason. They ain't putting on pay-per-views to put on pay-per-views. They want to make a profit. The networks and the promoters and the managers and everybody, they all want to get their cut. It was more stable before. Now it's like they broke it down into clicks. And you know what the old saying is, a house divided cannot stand. Boxing is one sport. Everybody trying to, well, this is my brand of the sport. And this is my brand. Like, no, it's one sport. And it's at its best when it's one sport. Saw a video where someone was recording Al Heyman in the back secretly with their phone. And when Al looked directly at the camera, I got chills. Bro, Al Heyman is a demon, bro. Look, man, it's demons walking among us, man. I had a situation a few days ago with one. It's demons walking among us. Fucking evil, bro. Like, Al Heyman is one of those demons, man. They said in the Bible, in the beginning, 1/3 of the angels fell from heaven. These was the fallen angels, right? We don't know exactly what the number is. We don't know how many of those fallen angels are here with us because it's only 1/3 of them. But what is that 1/3 of? A billion? A trillion? We don't know. Al Heyman is one of those fallen angels. So is that other that person that I shall not mention here is another one of them. Gotta be very fucking careful, right? They're here, they're with us, they're not fucking around, right? I ain't talking about shit, bro. I ain't talking about shit. I ain't talking about a motherfucking thing, B. Canelo trying for the fourth time to do the 168 undisputed fight. We'll see if it does. I mean, look, it's a second opportunity for them to get it right. I just wonder if the sticking points, the deal points, are the same. Like, what, you still gonna demand that he? Because to me, it's kind of obvious what the issue is. You want him for more than one fight, and you want assurances that he will be with you for more than one fight. And I cannot tell you with any certainty that they're gonna change their minds, because that was only 2 weeks ago that Eddie Reynoso said. He said, we don't want a multi-fight deal. We don't want to make a commitment. Oh, Leo knows the other part of the story. Originally, it was going to be 1/4 of the Fallen Angels, but Heyman lost all that. What's goody, Marcel? What's goody, Journeyman? Lydia, BX in a building. I used to live out there, man. I lived on 175th and Selwyn. Get off on the D train, go to the left, get out of the tunnel, go to the right, then go to the left, then go right one more time. That was my building, a building with the black gate on 175th. It's real shit, yo. 1/3 of the Fallen Angels, they hit run up with us. They got Twitter accounts, and their hearts is as black as, look at my shirt. Look at my shirt. Their hearts is as black as my shirt, yo. This evil shit out here, yo. You gotta be real careful. I'm a being of light, so they can't fuck with me. They can try, but they can't fuck with me. But everybody else, they like a fucking plague, yo. Al Heyman is a plague to boxing. He's like the fucking plague, like the bubonic plague. You don't see what he has done to boxing in just 2015 till now. Boxing before 2015 seemed like a whole different sport. Now it's on some old clicked up, you can't sit in my table type shit. It's wild out here. PBC is not going to survive. I don't know. They've been very resilient, Luis. I have to give them credit for that. They've been very resilient. They've bounced from network to network, from NBC to Spike, the Showtime, the Fox. Now they want to jump in bed with Paramount. Before you know it, they're going to be on a streaming app, just like The Zone is a streaming app. They're fucking resilient. And how they could be so resilient with such an inferior fucking product is amazing, because it is such an inferior product. But they do it. Toby, I dig it. Plant should have just let Eddie. I agree 100%. But Plant don't make those decisions. And we know it in our hearts. We know it. That he don't make those decisions. That's not his decision to make. Antonio Mosley. You know what I mean? PBC is not. I mean, like, for them to have been around this long with the way that they do business, it's like, yo, look, your fights are shit a lot, but y'all got some good survival instincts. They got them Bolotnik survival instincts. Like in the 6th round when he's fighting Buatsi, they got some old Richard Bolotnik survival instincts. Like, yo, I don't know how the fuck y'all still around with these shitty ass fights. Not making the fights that motherfucking people ask you for. I don't know how the fuck y'all still around. Apps suck. Yeah, you know that. Don't ask me. As soon as PBC ends up on an app, oh, apps are the greatest fucking thing ever. It's better than network television. PBC, poor boxing channel. I dig it. The way YTBC talks about Heyman and the way LDBC talk about her, Yeah, man. Look, like I said, like y'all don't want to believe me. I was there, man. I was there when they fell. I was mowing my lawn in the Garden of Eden. It wasn't caught that yet. Mowing my lawn. I look up, fucking angels start falling, and I see Al Heyman and the other person. I see them. I see them falling. I'm like, what the fuck? They get down, all fucking hell break loose, and here we are over 1,000 years later. They fucking everything up, bro. Al Heyman's over there fucking up boxing. You got people over there fucking up Twitter, fucking it up for everybody. Like shit, motherfuckers don't even be want to log in no more. Can't fucking post some shit without somebody getting mad. It's wild out here, man. Like shit, man. Like I said, I'm a being of light and a being of love, so I'll be fine. Well, Triller, I don't think so. I mean, I don't like speaking prematurely, but I don't think so. Because look at how Lopez versus Kambosos is going. Bear in mind, they just broke into boxing. They just broke into boxing. And look at that. Look at that one little fucking fight that if it was Top Rank or Matchroom or Golden Boy or PBC, they would have got it. It would have. It's done. It's done. It's done. Fight is done. Get it over with, right? Nah, y'all want to put all this bread up. Now y'all don't want to lose that bread because what? Well, you put too much bread up. You put two times. You put up 2 times as much money as fucking Matchroom, and Matchroom was overpaying for the fight because that's not a $3-4 million fight. The rule of thumb is, yo, if you put that up, can they bring it back? If you put up 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6, can this fight bring it back? If it can't, then you shouldn't have put it up. 2 hands, I ain't seen you in a while, man. It's been a long time. A lot of things have happened since then, 2 hands, man. I got some people coming after me. They mad at me. But I'm a being of light and love. I believe in live, let live. And that's why no matter what, I always win. I think Triller bit off way. Yeah, Adrian, they did, man. They wanted to make a splash. See, this is the thing. You remember when the Zone gave Mikey Garcia $7 million for Jesse Vargas? They knew they were overpaying for that fight, but they could take the hit. They knew, I got that. It's nothing. Triller, you put up $6 million, and the way you treating this fight, that's what tell me that, like, yo, you didn't have that to be doing that. Because you act like you still ain't put this motherfucker. You want to take it to Australia. You want to take it to the UAE. If you really believe that fight to get you back your 6, you'd have just did it right here in the States. But you don't believe that. Like, let's go to Australia. We get a big site fee. Oh, y'all don't want to go to Australia. All right, let's go to fucking the UAE or Saudi Arabia. Let's go over there. Yeah, because you know you realizing like, yo, why the fuck would you bid $6 million for that fight? Not for nothing, but Triller has the worst production. Bruh, you telling me like I don't want to see a concert, but I don't want to see a concert between fights, bruh. Like, I mean, Doja Cat shit was alright though. I ain't gonna front, but obvious reasons. But I don't fucking want to see a concert between every fight. The fuck? And then they gonna put Oscar up there. He all saucy and shit. He talking crazy. He said USSA. Like he said some old wild shit. I was like, yo, how they gonna do him like that? Y'all know he's saucy. If y'all know he's saucy, why y'all gonna put him up there like that? Bro, I have no idea who that kid is gonna fight. I would say Jojo Diaz. That seems realistic. Jojo Diaz. I think what might end up happening, Devin might end up moving up to 140. We know that Loma's fighting Comey. So Ryan, fuck around, maybe he fight JoJo. Shout out to Donnie Omega. A Canelo pay-per-view might give the PBC Darkness a bit longer life. Are we willing to pay? I tell you what, bro, because it's Canelo, I'm willing to pay. Because I believe he earned his way, I will pay. He earned his way, so I will pay. Like member Fight Club in Death, member of Project Mayhem, has a name. His name is Robert Paulson. Was the same person who lost to Jack Johnson. I have no doubt that Jack Dempsey was better than Jeffries. Admit it. You cringed. What chick? Raymond flavoring and her clams. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what that shit is about. I can Mike Tyson built up. He did though. Low key, he did. He did with the Jones Jr. exhibition. That's what made that possible. What offer does PBC give Canelo to action? That's the $40 million question. Seriously. Because, like I said, Eddie Reynoso, this is not me giving you opinions. He said that. They're like, yo, we don't want a multi-fight deal with Al Heyman. So I'm thinking, is that one of the deal points? Is that still one of the deal points? And can they assuade them to change their minds? Now, what I'm going to tell you is this weekend, you seen that Eddie Reynoso was at the PBC fight. So you seen that, right? Canelo wasn't there, but Eddie Reynoso was there. So when do you see Eddie at PBC fights? When? Since when? I agree with that, Adrian. I agree with that. It's wild out here, bro. Like, it's wild out here. Like, I don't actually know. And even now, I don't know that fight is going to happen, man. I don't know that fight is going to happen. I'm not going to tell you that it won't happen. I don't know. I'm just telling you that if that's still one of the deal points, that like, if you want Canelo for more than one fight, I don't know if he going to go for that. I don't know if he didn't do all of that to get away with Golden Boy just to jump into some other shit. So it's like, I don't know if he going to go for that. All right, what's goody, Daniel? When Broner was a champion at 35 and 40, who was the other champions? You know what? I'll direct you. I can't, off the top of my head, I can't tell you, right? But I'll tell you what you could do. Look at when Broner had the belts and the WBA and the IBF. They'll show you who the other champions was at the time. All you got to do is go to the date. Go to the WBA website, put in the date that you know Broner held the belt at a certain weight, and you'll see who the other champions was at that time. Because it'll show you all of them. Do you think Virgil Ortiz can? Yes, I do, 100%. I believe Virgil Ortiz can KO Denny Garcia, Keith Thurman. You want me to be honest? I think there's a chance he could KO Spence. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, because I don't know what the real condition of Errol Spence Jr. is. That he could be in there with somebody that's young and big and hungry and nasty and they hit hard. I don't know that. Look, real shit, bro. Danny is a complacent fighter. We known that for years. They're like, that dude is a complacent fighter. He go into big fights and he don't even fucking go for it. Fucking Virgil go in there. He fighting like you got his mom held hostage or some shit. The WBA is not out. They're trying to clean up their act. Maybe, but there's a fun fact. Oh, it's a debate going on down there. Was looking forward. Yo, so was I, man. So was I, Angela. So was I. And I'm wrestling with the idea of buying Pacquiao versus Ugas. Will Haymanites give Canelo credit if he dominates Plant, or will they make up a new duck narrative? No, they won't give him credit. They won't give him credit. And the reason I know they won't give him credit is, look, when Manny lost to Jeff Horn, right? It was the Haymanites that said, nah, he really beat Manny. Nah, he really beat Manny. Because Keith Thurman was saying that shit. Keith Thurman was on camera with Marcos Villegas. And Keith Thurman was saying, nah, he bullied Manny. He roughed Manny up. He pushed him around. And that's the shit they was running around saying. All the Haymanites was like, Jeff Horn beat Manny Pacquiao. Fast forward, Crawford beats Jeff Horn, and he don't just beat him, he beat him silly. Do they give Crawford credit for Jeff? No. But they'll give Spence credit for Manny, who got beat by Jeff, who got beat by Crawford. Do you think they'll be... I think right now you give the edge to Teofimo because he's been in there with better fighters. You give the edge now to Teofimo. Devin Haney has a style that is not that attractive to watch. It's not that appealing, but it's effective. He does not give you that many opportunities to hit him, which is good. Teofimo would have to work hard to find a way to put the right hand there. Linares, everybody, and I always say this almost every live, everybody takes that Linares fight out of context. Linares has one of the best right hands in that division. He's gonna land it. If you go to the lives and the videos that I did about that fight, I kept saying that. They're like, yo, dog, Linares is gonna land that right hand. Win or lose, he's gonna land that right hand, and he's gonna show us how Devin takes a hard shot. Because if he don't land nothing, he gonna land that right hand, and he did. And we see Devin he's bad for the last couple of rounds. He looking bad. You know what I mean? So right now I give the edge to Teofimo. Right now. If Devin starts having the fights at 140 that he has not been able to have at 135, and he gets that experience, that championship, elite level, bite down on your gum shield experience, if he can get that, there is a chance, because he has a style that does not give a guy that many opportunities to hit him. His jab is real good. His movement is real good. His defense is on point. He's young. He's slick. He just ain't that fun to watch. Don't really hit that hard. But as far as, okay, well, how does that matchup play out? Remember, Teofimo is a counterpuncher. He's not a swarmer. He's not a pressure fighter. He don't just go out there winging shots. He look for the opportunity to hit you. But if you don't give him one, what happens to the opportunity? Serious question. I don't know. I don't know, B. I ain't gonna lie. If he fight Davis, I'm gonna root for Davis. For real, like real shit. If they make that, and they probably will, if not next, after next. If they make that shit, yo, I'm rooting for Davis, bro. Just that one time. Like, please knock this motherfucker out. Please. Please. Hell, knock each other out. Please. Liam Rockwell. Aye. Look out for Jai. I know Jayo Patea. He fought on the undercard of Junior 5 versus Parker, right? He was on the undercard of that. He's about to fight for the IBF Cruiserweight final eliminator, Big Samoan Austrian. I think he was on the undercard. I think I seen that. Yo, look, that was a good-ass card. Matter of fact, I'll tell you what. For all the complaints that Parker versus Fa got, it was still better than Rigo Casimiro. You don't watch bantamweights because, like one of the appeals of the lighter weights is that the little men throw a lot. You know, the bantamweights, the super bantamweights, the flyweights, the super flyweights. That's part of the appeal of those little divisions. Rigo, the only motherfucking little man that don't want to throw. Everybody else throw. Only he don't want to throw. It's like, bro, like, look, man, I know we've been hard done and some things happen, but I don't want to see that shit. I don't want to see that shit. Trying to tell you something. Anyway, we're going to wrap up the live here, folks. Always a pleasure. Look out for the next episode of The Relay. Stay safe, because I'm telling you, them angels, them evil motherfucking angels that I told y'all about, they among us. Right? Stick to your ring IQ and stay safe.